Princess Kate, now the Princess of Wales, wore her first tiara in 3 years at a state banquet in Buckingham Palace. The banquet was King Charles III's first banquet as monarch, and he was hosting the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa. Princess Kate accessorized the formal event with a stunning gown and jewelry. The gown was a beautiful white Jenny Packham gown. And of course, the tiara, which we love to see, is Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara. The tiara is familiar to many of us because it has been a long-standing staple in the wardrobe and accessories of royals for quite some time. It was Queen Mary's tiara, and it was worn by Princess Kate's mother-in-law, Princess Diana, as well as Kate herself. And it is known as Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara. She also wore these dangling pearl earrings that were at one point Princess Diana's as well. Most recently, you would have seen Princess Kate wearing them at Remembrance Day. She also wore a beautiful bracelet from Queen Elizabeth's jewelry collection. She finished her appearance with the Dame Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order star and sash in addition to the Royal Family Order. Prince William, who participated in 3 of the Jubilees of Queen Elizabeth, added the Garter Star, the Thistle Star, and 3 small medals to his uniform for the Golden Jubilee in 2002, the Diamond Jubilee in 2012, and of course the Platinum Jubilee most recently in 2022. The state visit is actually the first visit that the royal family has had since 2019, and at that visit they had hosted former President Donald Trump. And the reason, obviously, that they haven't had a state visit in 3 years is because of all of the lockdowns and the pandemic. So it's been 3 years since Princess Kate has worn a tiara. So the last time she wore the tiara was at the annual Diplomatic Corps banquet in December of 2019. That was attended by about 1,000 people, including ambassadors, high commissioners, and government officials. She accessorized that occasion with the Lover's Knot tiara, the Nixon of Hyderabad necklace, and a navy velvet gown with long sleeves by Alexander McQueen, who was also the designer for her wedding. This state banquet was also the first state banquet for Queen Camilla, and she wore a sapphire and diamond tiara that Queen Elizabeth wore for the state visit in 2015 with President Xi Jinping of China. This was her first tiara that she has worn during King Charles's reign. She wore a blue dress to match the headdress. Also in attendance were Prince Edward, Sophie, Countess of Wessex, who was wearing an aquamarine necklace tiara, and the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, the Duke and Duchess of Kent, Lady Susan Hussey, and Annabelle Whitehead, a former lady-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth, were also there. And then also at the state banquet, King Charles III got up and he gave a speech which basically said the following. He said that South Africa, like the Commonwealth, has always been part of his life, and his mother recalled her visit in 1947, which was the year before Charles was even born. And that was where she pledged her life to the Commonwealth. After all, it was Cape Town in South Africa on her 21st birthday where she pledged her life of service to the entire Commonwealth from South Africa. So he thought it was appropriate to have their first state guests be the president of South Africa. He said the late Queen had great pleasure hosting President Mandela and other leaders to the United Kingdom, and he said that on all of those occasions she expressed her admiration for the country and its people, and she had great respect and love for the people of South Africa. She also had a visit in 1995 when she was the guest of President Mandela. And Nelson Mandela had given the Queen an endearing nickname. He called her Motlalapula, which means to come with rain. That's a very special expression of affection from Nelson Mandela to the Queen, because in England they always have rain. And then King Charles acknowledged that President Ramaphosa was a mentor and friend of Nelson Mandela. He also did say that they had great collaboration on schools and other things in South Africa, but he did say, while there are elements of history which provoke profound sorrow, it is essential that we seek to understand them. Now, of note, and very ironic, is that the coronation is coming up next May. The crown jewels has this Cullinan diamond that was a diamond that was discovered in South Africa, in Pretoria in 1905. And there's a lot of protest and a lot of controversy around those jewels. The Cullinan diamond, the South African jewels, will be used in the coronation, and it would be very necessary to have peace and harmony and acceptance from the president, especially since there are so many people who claim that those diamonds were stolen rather than given as a gift to King Edward VII. Does the Cullinan diamond and the state visit have anything to do with each other? Maybe, maybe not. But it does look like King Charles is trying really hard to create peace. His goal was to create peace between the two nations and also to acknowledge the deep history and love that they've had for South Africa. And then he quoted a quote from Desmond Tutu, which said, "My humanity is bound up in yours, and we can only be human together." I believe that is a vital lesson for us all and an important thread in the partnership between our countries. One of the reasons why he had South Africa as his first host country for a state visit was in order to acknowledge the Queen and also have that be an appropriate kickoff, since the Queen established her words and her commitment to the people of England that she would have a commitment to life, and he chose South Africa president because of the meaning in history. Since the Queen had used South Africa and Cape Town specifically to have that very famous speech, it was only appropriate for the royal family to also honor President Ramaphosa and his family and the country of South Africa on this very historic day, which was the first state visit that they've had in 3 years and the first that King Charles III has had as monarch.